Today, let's go over my $19,250 TFSA portfolio on WealthSimple Trade and all the updates in the month of February. Hello and welcome back to my channel where we talk about investing, personal finance, and dividends. If you're new here, consider subscribing to my channel and smashing that like button if you enjoy this type of video. Let's get started. I started investing with WealthSimple Trade back in August about 6 months ago. I was investing regularly every time I got paid after taking care of all my expenses like rent and credit card bills. My goal was to save consistently and invest it every single month. It did not matter how the market was doing, I was consistently investing, dollar cost averaging into my investments. You should try that as well. Pick an amount that you're comfortable with and stick to saving that amount and investing it regularly. Make it a habit to save some money and invest it. Before you start investing into the stock market, it's a good idea to have an emergency fund. Your emergency fund should be enough money to cover expenses for 2 to 3 months. Anytime you take money out of your emergency fund to pay for stuff, you should always replenish it before you invest your money anywhere. If you're prone to unexpected expenses or maybe even unemployment, I recommend increasing your emergency fund so that it covers 3 to 6 months of expenses. This is beneficial especially in situations like when the market took a sudden dip at the end of last month. It grants you peace of mind knowing that you have an emergency fund that will cover your expenses while the market recovers, and you don't have to sell your stocks to pay for anything. If you're new to trading like me, I suggest you start investing with your TFSA account. The money invested in your TFSA account will grow tax-free. When you're investing in your TFSA account, make sure you're not investing in foreign dividend stocks, as you would have to pay foreign withholding tax on any dividends received from foreign stocks. Some people in the comments disagree with me on that statement, saying that the growth seen in US stocks compared to Canadian stocks is actually high enough that paying the 15% foreign withholding tax is actually worth it. I agree with them on the fact that US stocks most times do outperform Canadian stocks, but paying that 15% foreign withholding tax every time I receive dividends doesn't feel good, you know? Sure, it's a small amount, but over time it adds up to be a bigger amount. I've changed my opinion on what I should hold in my different accounts as I learn more and more about stocks and finances. As of right now, I think holding Canadian stocks and ETFs and US growth stocks that do not pay dividends has the most benefit in a TFSA account because all the capital gains and dividends grow tax-free. And holding US dividend stocks and ETFs has the most benefits in an RRSP account, as you do not have to pay foreign withholding tax on any dividends received from foreign stocks and ETFs in your RRSP account. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with my strategy or not, and let me know what your strategy is. I haven't added anything new to my portfolio since the last time. I've just been dollar cost averaging on my holdings, specifically TD, RioCan, XEI, which is iShares High Dividend Yield ETF, Pizza, Fortis, and BMO. And I have about $1,500 cash ready if the market goes down in the near future. I want to be ready to take advantage of discounts on my holdings. I'm trying to buy into the US market as well, and I'll probably be using Questrade for that since they allow me to hold USD on my account, unlike WealthSimple Trade. WealthSimple Trade will charge me 1.5% currency conversion fee whenever I buy a US stock or an ETF, and also when I sell. Since you can't hold US dollars in your WealthSimple Trade account, it will automatically trigger a currency conversion fee to convert your US dollars from the sale into Canadian dollars. Questrade allows you to hold US dollars in your account. So once the money is converted from Canadian dollars to US dollars, it will stay in US dollars until you manually convert it back to Canadian dollars. Questrade charges you a 2% currency conversion fee if you buy US stocks and ETFs using Canadian dollars. But there is a workaround for that through something called Norbert's gambit, which essentially lowers your fees to convert your money from Canadian dollars to US dollars. Norbert's gambit is the process of when you buy a stock or an ETF that is traded both on the Toronto Stock Exchange and the New York Stock Exchange, and you journal over the shares, cutting out most of the fees. I'll explain more in detail. You could use a stock for this method, but it's usually more volatile compared to an ETF. There is a specific ETF that people buy to perform Norbert's gambit. They buy DLR.TO using Canadian dollars, which is an ETF that tracks the conversion rate between Canadian dollars and US dollars. Buying an ETF on Questrade is free of charge other than the ECN fees, which is about 0.35 cents per share. You then journal over your shares, which basically means they take the ETF that you have and match it with the same ETF, which is traded on a different stock exchange, and make that swap for you. You still have the same underlying asset, but it's traded in a different exchange. And we want to swap it to DLR.U.TO, which is the same ETF, but it's traded in US dollars. If you look at the correlation between these two ETFs, they're exactly opposite. If Canadian dollar goes up, US dollar goes down. And if Canadian dollar goes down, US dollar goes up. To initiate the journaling, you contact Questrade support once you've bought DLR.TO shares, and you tell them, I want to journal over my DLR.TO shares to DLR.U.TO shares. And they'll verify it is you and confirm with you on how many shares you're journaling over. This will take them a couple of days to complete the transaction, and usually it takes about 3 to 4 business days. Once the journaling is done, you'll have DLR.U.TO shares, and you can go ahead and sell them, and that will deposit US dollars into your Questrade account. When selling an ETF on Questrade, Questrade will charge you commission fees of minimum $4.95 up to a maximum of $9.95, in addition to ECN fees, which is 0.35 cents per share. And now that you have US dollars in your account, you can freely go around buying US stocks and ETFs without worrying about the 2% currency conversion fee. When you sell your US stocks and ETFs, they'll deposit US dollars into your Questrade account, and they'll stay in US dollars until you manually convert it back to Canadian dollars. Now let's compare why this is so good. Let's say you have 2,000 Canadian dollars and you want to buy Tesla stock and it's traded on the New York Stock Exchange. If you straight up bought Tesla stock using your Canadian dollars, you would have to pay 2% currency conversion fee, which is about $40. But if you use Norbert's gambit, let's calculate how much in fees you would have to pay. For $2,000, let's say a DLR share is about $12.65. You could buy about 158 DLR shares. When you're buying this ETF, you would have to pay the ECN fees. For 158 shares, that would come out to be around 55 cents. You wait for the journaling, and when you go to sell your DLR.U.TO shares, your commission fees, which is $4.95 plus the 55 cents in ECN fees, adds up to about $5.50. So in total, you would have paid $6.15 to convert the same amount of Canadian dollars to US dollars instead of $40. Norbert's gambit is very beneficial as the amount that you're converting goes higher and higher. I did a bunch of withdrawals and contribution to my TFSA last year, so I'm gonna have to double check on my contribution limit before I go any further and deposit more money into my TFSA account. I don't want to over contribute in my TFSA account, so while I do my taxes, I'm gonna double check on my contribution limit. Because it's a tax-free savings account, I don't want to pay 1% tax on like excess amount that I put in there. In the meantime, I'll probably be looking into investing with my RRSP account or my taxable account. I am doing my taxes by myself for the first time this year. Stay tuned, I'll be making a video on how to file your own taxes using Simple Tax. February was an interesting month. Crypto was soaring all-time highs, and the stock market as well. At the end of last month, the stock market took a hit randomly as all prices were really high and institutional investors were reevaluating their investments, as well as the fear of inflation because the government has been printing money since last March and bond yields going up as well. I made another video where I talked about these market corrections and what we can do to be better prepared for these random dips and how we can take advantage of discounter prices when these market corrections takes place. The stock market is never rational. There's always extreme reactions. Like whenever there's any good news, the stock prices go up like crazy, and whenever there's any bad news, the stock price just crashes down. The market is volatile, and that's what we signed up for. A way to mitigate your risks is to dollar cost average into your investments. Buy at a constant interval and buy into your holdings little by little, building up a large position. Over time, you would have ignored all the risks of the market volatility by simply just buying at a constant interval, giving you a lower buy price. For long-term investors like us, the short-term price fluctuations do not matter that much. My strategy is that I'm going to keep buying into my holdings and dollar cost average on my investments, and it's going to be worth it in the long run. It's a great strategy because you don't have to perfectly time the market to make profit. You casually invest it regularly, and over time you'll be making profit. Buy it, forget it, and make money in your sleep. If you use WealthSimple Trade and you haven't claimed your free $10 yet, you could still do that on the app. You can click on the gift icon and enter my code on the app. BDFJSG will both receive a small bonus. My portfolio is currently worth $19,192.48, and it's growing every month. Last month, it grew by $1,102.67. Now for the dividends I received with this portfolio last month. On February 1st, TD Toronto Dominion Bank paid me $7.90 for holding 10 shares. On February 5th, REI RioCan paid me $6.08 for holding 76 shares. On February 8th, VRE Vanguard's REIT ETF paid me $2.72 for holding 31 shares. VDY Vanguard's High Dividend Yield ETF paid me 84 cents for holding 8 shares. And VAB Vanguard's Aggregate Bond ETF paid me 27 cents for holding 4 shares. On February 15th, PZA Pizza paid me $5.50 for holding 100 shares. On February 16th, GRT Granite REIT paid me 75 cents for holding 3 shares. On January 26th, BMO Bank of Montreal paid me $6.36 for holding 6 shares. XDiv, which is iShares MSCI Canadian Quality Dividend ETF, paid me $1.42 for holding 18 shares. XEI, which is iShares High Dividend Yield ETF, paid me $4.58 for holding 61 shares. XBB, which is iShares Canadian Unity Bond ETF, paid me 21 cents for holding 3 shares. FIE, which is iShares Monthly Financial ETF, paid me $2.44 for holding 61 shares. XRE, which is iShares REIT ETF, paid me 92 cents for holding 22 shares. And CDZ, which is iShares Canadian Dividend Aristocrat ETF, paid me $1.11 for holding 14 shares. I've received $41.10 in total this month, and it's starting to get consistent compared to previous month, which was $43.84. This is a really good sign as my portfolio is growing over time. I'm going to be reinvesting the dividends I receive once I have enough to buy a stock or an ETF. My dividend payout should keep going higher and higher as I invest more and more, and eventually maybe I can live off my dividends paid to me and I don't have to work anymore. That's the end goal of having financial independence and retiring early. That's been my WealthSimple Trade portfolio and my February update. As always, make money work for you, not the other way around. You can check out WealthSimple Trade and start investing today. I have another video that walks you through the setup. I'll leave my referral link in the description box below. If you use that link to sign up, fund your account $100 and buy some stocks with that, you'll receive $10 and I'll receive $25 as well. Let's take personal finance into our own hands and make our money work for us. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, and if you like this video, be sure to smash that like button and hit that subscribe button for more content like this. Bye!